Welcome back guys, and today I want to do another Mortal Kombat video. This time I want to do a reaction for Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 and their fatalities. I'm combining these two videos together because Mortal Kombat 1 only has 7 fighters and therefore 7 fatalities in the entire game. If I only did Mortal Kombat 1 on its own, it would take less than 10 minutes probably. I wanted to answer the question of whether or not a lot of these fatalities are possible in real life, and the reason I say that is because these games are known for their violence and that type of stuff, and this game, along with Doom and a bunch of other older games, are responsible for the age rating system that we know today in video games. This game has been blamed a lot, along with others, for the whole violence in teenagers thing that teachers and concerned parents whine about at schools and whatever. So I wanted to answer the question of whether or not a lot of these fatalities are actually possible in real life. And before I go any further, I want to make it clear I'm not actually going to be trying to do any of these on a person or a dummy or anything like that. I'm simply reacting to it and then giving my opinion on whether or not that's possible. I think most of these are going to be very clear on whether or not they are possible, and even if they are possible, they have to be under very specific circumstances. And to be clear, I'm not an expert at this. You could probably ask a doctor, a scientist, or even the guys at Death Battle whether or not this is a possible thing to do when it comes to each of these moves, but I'm just wanting to give my opinions here. I honestly think that other games such as Call of Duty, Battlefield, and even Fortnite are more to blame simply because the things that you do in those games with the weapons that they give you is kind of possible. Obviously, we don't want them to happen, they shouldn't happen, but it's much more possible for someone to die at the hands of a gun than a fireball shooting out of someone's mouth. So I'm going to rank these fatalities on a scale of 1 to 10 of how cool I think they are so that I can have a more normal video on top of it, but I'm also going to be ranking how well I think they are on a likeliness of being able to happen. It's worth mentioning that I'm going to be using the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection for this video because it's easier to capture footage on, and I can also put the fatality timer to unlimited and a 1-button fatality setting so that I don't have to waste a ton of time trying to get all the right inputs in to get it to work. It's not really the point of the video, I just wanted to mention that because it will be in the left of the screen. I'm going to be starting with Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 in this video, and in future videos I hope to go over the rest of the series. From that point on, I'm going to go game by game in different videos just because they have a lot more fighters to go over, and for the sake of time, doing several games in a row after this point, it would be way too much in one video. But I think it's fair to put 1 and 2 together because the first one has 7 fighters and the second only has 12. So I think that's a fair assessment, and we'll go on from there. So let's go. So we'll start with Johnny, of course. So, can you do this to a person? No, I don't think so. It's cool as like the first ever fatality as a classic. I think it's very good. But no, I don't think you can do this to a person. I think it would have to be like The Rock doing it to a 10-year-old or something. Not that that would happen, but like that's still crazy. Yeah, I don't think that can happen. So, new fighter, Kano. I'm using the 1-button. Heart Rip, also classic. Yeah, this one's really good. I meant to give them numbers. The last one got like a 9 out of 10 for this game. This one gets like an 8 out of 10. It's classic for Kano though. But for an actual person, no, you cannot do this to them. It would have to be like just fully normal in a fight. You could not do this. This one, Spine Rip. No, you can't do this one. Super cool. I love the The texture on the spine looks a little odd. It looks more like metal, but it's alright. It still looks really good. It's like a 9 out of 10. The thing itself, no, you cannot do this. Okay, Sonya. This is the leg thing, right? No, this. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. It's like an 8 out of 10. No, that you can, if that was not clear, that's you cannot do that. That's the most like magic-y or like very unrealistic one we've seen so far. But it's very cool. I love the skeleton model that's in this game. It looks really cool. And the physics of it, how it like falls over, is awesome. Raiden and Kano. Very cool. I wish it was like a little bit more, so I'd give it like a 7. But as far as an actual person goes, you wouldn't. It doesn't take much electricity to stop someone's nervous system and stuff like that. But to actually make their head explode, I don't think there's enough. That would have to be like, well, Raiden could do it, obviously, but I mean like, no human can harness that enough electricity to be able to do that. It had to be something like a lightning strike or something like that. It would never, obviously humans can't conduct electricity that way. And sometimes they do it in movies. I don't think that's actually how that works. Even if it is, it would kill the person who does it. And typically it does. So, I'm gonna give this one a no, it's not possible. Liu Kang.
Liu Kang wins. Fatality.
That, okay. That was pretty bad, honestly. So you do what? A flip kick and an uppercut, and then he just gets knocked out of the screen? I mean, you can do that. You're not going to launch him 10 feet in the air. But I don't think that's going to kill him either. So it's pretty lame, I think. Like, if this was a special move, it'd be like a 5. Or no, it'd be pretty cool, but as a fatality, it's like a 5. So, I guess you could count that as 1, but that's not going to kill anyone. So, I don't know. Final one. Scorpion. There we go. Oh yeah, the classic. This is the best one in the game. Obviously not possible. You can't spit fire. Well, okay. You can do that magic trick where you have like swallow lighter fluid like in stunt guys do and stuff like that, maybe. Or not swallow it, put it in your mouth and spit it back out. But it's not gonna ignite that quickly. It's not gonna, or like on a person, it's not gonna be as, this is clearly a dramatization or of whatever that was supposed to be. It's not possible, and so I'd give this like a half and half possible, I guess. It's technically possible, but not by normal means. You're not gonna see a kid, you're not gonna see an average teenager just rip their face off and spit fire. So I'm still gonna give this a not possible, but as a fatality on its own, it's pretty cool. So out of the 7 fatalities in this game, one of them was possible, but it definitely wouldn't kill a man. And another is technically possible under the right circumstances, but it's not really something that any kid or any random person off the street could do. It takes a very specific person who's well versed in magic tricks or other types of things like that to be able to actually spit fire on another person. And even then, it would not burn up and kill a person that quickly. It's obviously very exaggerated. So from here, we can now move on to Mortal Kombat 2. And now for the verse of the day. Philippians 4 verse 11 says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Time for MK2.
Finish him.
This one's a classic too. The giant dragon what Liu Kang turns into is so cool. I wish it was red though, because his colors are like red, you know. But no, a human cannot do this. They cannot turn into a dragon and eat a person. But as a fatality on its own, 10 out of 10, especially for the early days. So each character has at least 2 in this one, so that's cool. Oh, okay, it's the same one as last time. I think it's worse than the last time. So I'm gonna give it like a 5 again, maybe a 4. But yeah, you can technically do that to a person, but it will not kill them, I don't think. Kung Lao.
Finish him.
Oh, that one's really cool. Yeah, obviously you can't do that because hats like that don't exist. Like those looking hats do, but his has like a buzz saw on it. He's really cool power in that way. I think gameplay wise he's pretty boring, but for that it's very cool. Yeah, no, he cannot. That is not possible to do with a person. You might be able to cut them with one, like if you have a sharp thing around it, but just slice them down the middle. I don't think that's possible. But as a fatality on its own, 10 out of 10. So that's one. Oh, way back here. Okay, that was pretty bad. He just hit him with it. That's like a normal. It's just his special move that they put some blood on. Yeah, I'm gonna give that one like a 4. You can do that, but again, I don't think that's gonna kill a person. And especially because those hats, as they are, don't exist. Like, the way that he has it, with a giant buzzsaw, it's not possible. So, Johnny Cage.
Finish him.
Oh, that one's cool. Obviously, you can't actually do that, unless again it's like The Rock or someone like that. But it is really cool. I love the motion that Johnny does, like the amount of rage that they give him in his sprite animations. Very cool. Yeah, 10 out of 10 as actual fighting move. The other one, same as last time. So I think most of the secondary ones for the returning characters are just the same as last time. So yeah, you cannot do that, but it's still cool. A reptile.
Finish him.
That's funny.
Fatality.
So I think as a fatality, it's like an 8 out of 10. As actual thing you can do in person, no, you cannot use your tongue to rip someone out, their head off. Not gonna happen, but still pretty cool. Okay, that's kind of cool. I think he just kind of did the same as Johnny's, but he turned invisible. So that's cool. If Johnny's, I wish he had like a different ending animation because it just looks the same as Johnny's, just a little quicker. So I think I'll give it like a 7. It's still very cool, but it's too similar to Johnny's.
Finish him.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a 2-step thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. No, you cannot freeze someone and punch them and make them explode. But still, very cool fatality. I like that you have to do 2 different steps to it. That's something interesting. Give it like an 8 out of 10.
Finish him.
Oh, okay. Sweet. He throws the ice ball inside of you and then it explodes. That's cool. Yeah, you can't do that in real life, but still very good. The animation for the explosion is pretty similar to the last one, so I'll give it like a 7. So, Shang Tsung.
Finish him.
This one's really cool. I love
Fatality.
the soul sucked out corpse thing. It looks really cool. That model looks awesome. Yeah, obviously you can't do that in real life, but it's still really cool.
Wins. Fatality.
I'll give it like a 9 out of 10. Next one. That one's kind of weird. I think, like, I don't know how he has that power. I don't think that's really consistent with his normal powers of fireballs and like shape shifting, but sure. I'll get like a 7, but no, you cannot do that. This one's really cool. So you cannot control the bosses in MK2, so it's really cool that he turns into Kentaro and punches the top half off of Reptile. That's awesome. I'll give that a 10 out of 10 for sure.
Fatality.
But no, you cannot turn into a giant four-armed Tiger Man and punch a dude's top half off. Kitana.
Reptile. Finish him.
Oh yeah, the kiss.
Kitana.
Classic.
Fatality.
I think it's pretty good. It's like an 8 out of 10. Obviously you can't do it in real life, but it's still pretty cool.
Finish him.
Okay, simple, cut the head off. I think those weapons, those like fan weapons, I used to do karate, so I know some of this, but those fan weapons do exist. I don't know if they're sharp enough to cut a head off clean. You'd have to ask like someone who knows that better, or like Adam Savage or something. He may know that, but like I don't think you could definitely kill someone with that, but not in that way. So this is probably the first one that is relatively possible. I'll give them that. As a move on its own, I think it's decent, like a 7.
Reptile. Finish him.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, smack, like the Homelander thing that he does. Yeah, very cool. I think it gets better when he has his robot arms, because obviously in MK2 he doesn't have his robot arms yet. So I think this just gets better with time. But as a move on its own, very cool. Because he's like the strongest character in this roster as far as like physical strength. Because he's a grappler. Yeah, very cool. As an actual move, you cannot do that in real life. You could probably hurt someone if you did that, but not. I don't think you can kill him. Very cool. The other one. Arm rip, very cool. I like the irony that they gave him where he rips the opponent's arms off when he loses it in this game to then get his robot arms. That's cool. As a move on its own, I guess you could do that, technically. So I'll give that a possible. You'd have to be an extremely strong person against a relatively weak person to be able to do that. But still pretty cool. Melina.
Reptile. Finish him.
That was terrible. Yeah, couple stabs with some size. I don't think is anything special.
Finish him.
Could you do that to a person? Yes, I think that is possible.
Fatality.
I'll give you that. But as far as a move from Melina, pretty boring. She's the first character to use size, so I understand it, but it's still okay. Fatality 2, yeah. Huh?
Fatality.
What? That didn't make any sense.
Finish him.
So she just sucks them inside, all of them inside of her, mouth and then spits out the bones, that's like a 3. That's pretty boring. Obviously you can't do that, but sure. Baraka!
Reptile. Finish him. Fatality.
Sure, I guess if you have a blade attached to your arm, like if you strapped a katana blade on your arm, like something that the Mythbusters would make, maybe you could do that. But still, I think to cut it clean off is pretty spectacularly exaggerated. As far as the move on its own, I don't think it's good or actual fatalities. That one's pretty cool. I love how he sits there for a minute and then slides down the blades. Very cool impact on that one. I don't. You could probably not do that with a real person because you would have to be. You'd have to make up 2 very strong katana type blade things on your arms, get someone with it, and then be strong enough to lift them up, and then have them hang there for a couple of minutes or seconds, whatever, and then they slide down. So it's possible, but you'd have to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to do that. So, Scorpion.
Reptile. Finish him.
As a move on its own, though, it's a 8 out of 10. So Fatality 1. Oh yeah, this was the last one. Okay, I like that. I like that it explodes also, and the bones are still on fire. That's cool. That's 10 out of 10 for sure. Yeah, very cool. Obviously, you can't do that. Again, you can't do that on your own. Like I said earlier, you can't rip your face off and explode someone with fire breath. And even then, this is even more crazy than the last one, because last time the guy just burnt up and fell over. But in this one, he's exploding on top of that. So yeah, not possible. But very cool. Fatality 2. Okay. It does like 2 slashes to the neck and then to the torso. And yeah, I think the angle at which he flies is kind of odd. Just kind of flies behind him. But so it's kind of odd. I'll give it like an 8. But his weapon, no. Scorpion's spear, I don't think can do that. Maybe a katana could be strong enough to cut someone in half at the waist with a really strong person, but like, and at the little spear that he has, you know, I don't think it's strong enough to do that. Final one, Raiden. That was terrible. Oh my goodness. That was like a 4. I think okay, 1, well, I guess that could kill someone. Like, yeah, electricity will kill somebody if they touch it, but like, you can't do that for 1. You can't channel electricity in that way. Again, I don't know if that could kill a dude, but yeah, pretty lame. Number 2. Wow, that was lame. Didn't even use the lightning. He just punched him really hard. I don't know. I think that's worse than Johnny's, because his makes sense as like a movie star. That's like a movie star move. Yeah, for Raiden to do that, that's pretty boring. So after 24 fatalities in Mortal Kombat 2, I think 4 of them are possible, and 1 of them will not even kill. Liu Kang's flip kick thing is possible by humans, but definitely will not kill. Katana's blade swipe technically is possible, but you'd have to be very skilled in using that weapon, and even then, I don't think it can cut a person's head off. Melina's stabs with her size are possible, but again, you have to be skilled to use it properly. And Baraka's blade swipe could be done, but you would have to like create an exact weapon that is similar to that and also be skilled at using it. So while these are technically possible by humans, you have to go very far out of your way to be able to do that, and one of them wouldn't even hurt anyone. I think it's fair to say that for the most part, these are not possible by humans. Out of the first two games, there was a combined 31 fatalities, and 5 of those were possible. I'll keep a running tally as we go through the games to see at the end of it how many fatalities are possible. I'm not going to count the stage fatalities or animalities because I want to keep those separate. I may do those at one time or another, but the animalities are out of a human's control for the most part, so it doesn't even really count for this argument. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is a fair assessment of these fatalities, or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.